In Kiwami 2, they switched from their original engine to the engine they're using on their modern games, the Dragon engine. And
Hmm.
that was one of the first games using that engine, and they had no idea what they were doing. It was
Oh boy.
so they went from if someone collapses, there's like a preset animation to ragdolling based on how they land. And
Oh,
it
that's pretty
went
smart.
really bad. So if you kicked an enemy in the head, they would fly around the map for a couple of seconds and then just land on the ground.
Oh,
Or if
oh
you,
boy.
there was a lot of grabs in that game, so you would throw enemies and all manner of things would happen. Like there was never any indication of what was going to happen. The same thing happened to the player as well, which could become a problem because if you fight near, there's like a river in one of the areas. If you land
Yeah.
in the river, you just die. So
Oh,
if you,
it's just like instant ragdoll when
yeah,
they touch the water?
yeah, you just like if you throw the enemies in there, they die, but so do you. So like
Oh
you don't
boy.
want it to go really badly there. You get used to it when you're playing the game, but the first time it happens, especially because the opening introduction to the combat is like in a
Hmm.
graveyard. You're going there to visit someone, and people decide to like come and attack you because you're like the leader of this organization, or you were. And so you're seeing this ridiculous combat happening in what would have been like a few seconds ago a really serious moment. And it's just this the entire game is this like the entire series really is this juxtaposition of super serious with kind of like
Mm.
wonky and funky things happening just randomly out of nowhere. And
I
as I said,
love that
I really
style.
enjoy that stuff.
Yeah, I love that stuff too. Like, I try to put that into our game. So with the story for our game, it's got a bit of a serious
Oh,
tone,
you
but
actually
as you
have a
can,
story for the game. Okay, I wasn't sure.
yeah, part of the campaign. Like, so each of the levels
Mhm,
and characters have part of their own lore and
mhm.
such. But my main focus is the gameplay. But what was I saying?
You're talking
Yeah.
about
So with
the serious nature of the story of the
oh
campaign.
yeah, the serious nature. Yeah. So while we do have some serious bit of the story to it, our gameplay is pretty wacky, as you can tell. As literally one of the front weapons is a plate of jelly.
Yeah, yeah, that's one of the ones on the GIF on the website or the video on the
Yeah.
website.
So with that, yeah, like it is a bit serious, but we do have a bit of comedy in there, which is, I guess, in its way. How would you say this? I guess it just plays off itself,
Right,
really. Yeah.
right. Like it's a comedic moment feels, especially when it's done well, it
Mm.
feels funnier if it's like right next to something super serious. It's
Yeah.
like
Exactly.
yeah, like as I was saying before about like the Yakuza stuff, like you're mourning at a funeral, and then suddenly people are just flying around the map, and he's like, what
Exactly.
is
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
on?
Hmm.
So with the game right now, how
Mhm.
many like arenas are there? How many characters and cars are there? And I guess the weapons as well. If I know it might be difficult to remember the exact numbers off the top of your head for some of those, but if you have like
That's
a
all
rough
good.
ballpark,
Being the lead program, I've got a good sense of the amount of numbers and such.
fair
So
enough.
we have 12 arenas,
Mhm,
12 characters, 12 base cars.
mhm,
Um, we currently have 8 front
mhm,
weapons and I think 6 back
mhm.
weapons and 6 side weapons.
Was all of that present in the Avcon demo? Because I don't remember there being that many
No,
arenas.
actually, we do have some cutouts as they aren't publicly ready.
Mhm,
But, we also want to be able to like, just show the best of the best in the demo,
mhm,
but also entice players to, like, want to see what's else we have in store.
mhm, mhm.
So, while we could have every level in our builds for the demo, uh, it's just it's just so it's just better if we don't, you
Right,
know?
right, right.
Yeah.
And you mentioned having the different demos for different cons, so I'd imagine you maybe swap out some of the arenas for different cons as well.
Yeah, I actually, we've definitely considered that, but, yeah, we just stuck with the 4 base levels because it's just simple for us, I guess.
So I would assume those are probably some of the more polished ones then, and maybe some of the ones that have been around for the longest.
Mm, definitely. With the fourth level in the demo,
Mhm.
the helicarrier, that is the
Oh,
longest level
that's
that's been developed before.
is that the one that has the fans on it?
That's right. It's up in the
Yeah.
sky. The fans pull you in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That one's gone through a couple of iterations. Before it used to have like a toxicity symbol kind of layout.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like split up into 6 areas. But we thought, nah, the gameplay is a bit too spread out. So we made it a bit tighter and a bit smaller. Yeah.
So when a, I know this isn't like your main thing because you are like the programmer, but I'm
Mhm.
sure you still get involved in this as well. Like when there's a new arena being worked on, like sort of what thought process goes into this? Like what are you guys trying to like have in the arena? What do you want to avoid doing? Because they all seem to be like these like circular arenas where you come in from the
Mhm.
edges. But like what really goes into the like especially the hazards and things like that.
Yeah, that's actually a very good point, really. So when we first started the core concepts for the games, we
Mhm,
thought, okay, so this is going to be built around the idea of battle royale, right? So we
mhm,
thought, all right, let's make big arenas and such.
mhm,
But since
mhm,
that was way too out of scope, we had to cut it back. And we realized that with bigger arenas, even though it would be more on par with other car games, we thought there's not a lot happening because like all the fighting's like spread out, people just driving around,
mhm, mhm,
having like downtime. We thought, nah, let's bring all the action into a nice, a concise space.
mhm,
So that way, like if you hit someone, you bounce out, and
mhm,
then
mhm,
literally within seconds, you could be hit out of the arena,
mhm,
or
mhm,
you could like quickly drive back and then do more damage instantly. Um, yeah, but with the terms of obstacles and such, that's actually part of the idea we had with our levels.
mhm,
We wanted so each level has its own specific what we call gimmicks.
mhm. Because there's
Yeah,
one of them with
so
like the mushrooms, and you like
yeah, that's
bounce off
right.
of
So
them.
the jungle.
Mm.
Yep, with the jungle level, we intend that to be a like starter level, and well, people to like get the controls without worry of death so much.
Right.
Like the jungles do bounce you, but they do 0 damage,
Mhm,
and the levels like in a tight bowl. So that way, if a player like falls in or gets pushed away, they're not going to go out of the barrier.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah. Whereas like with the more advanced levels, like in Helicarrier, the level's literally pulling you into death.
Yeah, I think when I was playing that level, I died more times from the hazards than other players.
Mm, mm. Yeah, that's like part of the idea, though. We want it so like it does actually track whether if you are pushed by another player into the arenas.
Mhm, mhm.
So it like the level does allow for more death,
Mhm.
but allows for you to get more kills in a way.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now, what is the like range of levels? So you said there's 12 and some are being worked on.
hmm
Is it like a mix of easy, medium, hard levels, or is it like more focused towards one side? Are you aiming for like a more casual audience with it, or do you want there to be like this, I guess, higher skill ceiling for those higher levels?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So, with the skill ratings of it all, while the levels do have some variance within, it's somewhat minimal.
Mhm,
But we try to account for that, allowing like high school players to use the set of movement mechanics. Say we
mhm,
have this feature that we implemented not too long ago, actually. What's the we call it the nudge?
mhm,
Basically, allows you to send your car flying in a certain direction, whether you're airborne or not. It's once you figure out how to use it, it's it's like a whole new ballpark of a game, you know?
mhm, mhm.
Because like even if you're not on your wheels, you can still somehow drive.
Right, right. I guess that's
Yeah,
kind of why some would say, like a Rocket League comparison there.
yeah, a little bit. Um, Additionally, we also account for the skill range by having the weapons be skillful because there's timing,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
aiming with it as well. And just like with all the fast-paced action of the cars, you can use those weapons to assist you get that higher skill points.
Hmm. Hmm.
Whereas a more novice player might use one of the easier weapons, which does lower damage, but it's a bit more consistent, you know?
Right, right.
But yeah, as for the levels, they do have some range in the skills, but they're more or less pretty similar.